Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rico back at it again with my guy, Kevin Gerard, aka Papa Peck, aka White Lightning, aka.
I don't know. I can't give myself
Oh, you
nicknames.
can. You're allowed to.
Nah, I'm good.
You're good? All
Yeah.
right.
I like the white
Aka,
lightning. It was pretty good.
aka Dark Chocolate in the building. What's up? What's up? What's happening? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome for those that are tuned in. I apologize. I wanted to go a lot sooner, but people got things to do, man. People got lives, and I had to go and run some errands with the wifey and drop her off and do all that good stuff. But for those that are tuned in, welcome to the Buffalo Fanatics, hosted by your boy Rico. And we got a slew of topics to hit up. And before we get into hitting up the topics, I'm gonna let Kev, not really take over per se, but he hasn't been on the show for a while, so people are gonna want to know how you been, man. So how have you been?
I guess the last time I was on was the draft when I lost my mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
that the last episode?
Yeah, that was it. You guys called me up the next day, remember? Because you were like, wanted to know if I was okay. But yeah,
Oh shit, y'all remember when Kevin lost his mind? Who'd you guys draft again?
Raekwon Davis.
Raekwon Raekwon Davis. Kevin lost his ever loving mind because the damn Dolphins drafted Raekwon Davis, which could end up probably being one of your best players for a long time. And you're freaking out. You just never know. You never know how these things play out.
They bungled the draft.
They bungled the draft, my guy Kevin says. So before we get into it, you guys know how I do. I gotta give a shout out to the people that are in this room. Len Brown, I see you, my guy. Dan Brown in the he call you Finn Diesel. Dan Brown in the building. I see my man F the Jets in the building. I see you, bro. What's going on? Nate Raymond, Ryan Berger. I see you. Who we got in the building, man? Zach Barker, Tim Miller, Stephen Rudd, Robbie Osman, Ozman. I see you. That was my favorite take. He went off. Boy, did he ever go off. He went off like nuts. He just was a crazy man. So welcome, Pete Bonaker, man. Yo, let me tell you, man, Pete Bonaker, we used to play this pool game on our phones, man. That boy was cleaning me up. Cleaning me up, man. 8 Ball, you're cleaning me up, man. I can't have that no more, man. I was sick and tired of playing you. She. So each and every one of you guys, I thank you guys for tuning in. There's 70 people in this room. I know it's late. So if we don't get a big crowd, it's all good. Y'all can catch us on the flip side. So we've got quite a few things to talk about today. But the one thing that I did want to touch on, and I want to make it very clear, right? And do you guys see what's happening here? Do you see it?
Are you,
Don't you see the love? Don't you see? What are you about to say?
I was gonna. I
Where
see
you
where
going
you're
with
going.
it? Yeah, like where are you
I
going
was
with
gonna say
this?
you're talking about how you gave me the small chair, so I always look shorter than you.
Yo, you want me to? But let me bump it down a little bit. Let me see if I can. Let me see.
Yeah,
Hey, let me break it down. Let me break it
almost.
down
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So, by the way, I'm gonna try to have this recorded as a podcast. I don't want to call it a podcast because I don't really do the podcast thing because I got my Bills guys and I got Casey. I got a whole slew of these guys doing the podcast thing. But I'm gonna try to record this. So for those that like listening in the car and instead of killing your bandwidth, then we'll have that opportunity for you guys. So that's what we do. That's what we're gonna do. My man says it's a bromance.
Bromance,
It's
yeah.
a bromance. Yo, I got real good chemistry with my guy Kev, man. Kev's my guy, man. And that's the thing. And this is what I want to get to. Do you see the love? Do you see how Ebony and Ivory sitting together and we doing this thing? I cannot understand in this world how one person can think they are better than the other. Am I better than you? No. Are you better than me? No.
Well,
We are the same, baby. We bleed the same. We breathe the same air.
purple and gold.
And we rock for the same team, the Lake Show. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my guy Kev to come join the Bills, but he's too stubborn. He wants to stick with it. But the point I'm trying to make is this, man. There should be no divide. It's love all day, every day. Shit, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Buffalo Fanatics, we doing big things, man. Diversity is king. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Are you good with that? Do you want to add anything?
No, I'm good, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's
Shall
all.
we get into our first topic, sir?
All right, let's do that.
Let's do that. But before we do, I gotta. Oh, I'm not even. What am I doing
Gotta
here?
set up my Miami Bills games. Oh, Pete, man, we got screwed. Uh,
Let me.
every year, man. Every year. You know how I always wait for the schedule to come out because I'm
Yep.
always like, when's the Buffalo game where they play Miami and Buffalo? Every year. And last year was the first time in like 4 years or something that it's like this year we play in January. Like,
You don't like that?
well, I don't know. Are you going to come sit in the stands with me in January?
In Miami?
No, in Buffalo.
In Miami, we can talk about it, but in
Yeah.
Buffalo, I don't know about that.
There was the one year they played on, I think it was Christmas Eve. Or wasn't it Christmas Eve? The second.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was.
You
It was
remember
deep.
it was the second JHI 200-yard game. It was Christmas Eve.
I
Then
hate
the
how you'd
next
like to
day,
remind me that.
It was like, and then the next year was like in January again.
Yep.
And then last year was good. Now this year we're like, it's the last game of the year.
I hear you. I mean, listen, you're gonna have to get over it, man. Pierre the Kingpin's in the building. What does Pierre got to say? We all know the mic got to be under Kev. Smooth, lover. You notice how I moved the mic a little close to him because Kev's always so smooth talking. I mean, that's how I think that's how he lulls his ladies when he gets his ladies. He gets them. He's like, hey, what's up? My name is Kevin. What'd you say? My name is Kevin. He gets them real close, and then he whispers a little je ne sais quoi because he speaks a little bit of French. So then, boom, panties are dropping.
Yeah, it's not with my dance moves.
It's definitely not with his dance move.
I'll be belly up at the bar. You want to do some shots? I'll be there.
He's there with you.
Yeah.
He's there with you. So here's the deal. First topic on the night. I gotta bring it up, man. I'm gonna bring that up right now. There's been, and it's not just local and fan chatter. It's also some Buffalo media starting to show a little love to the Bills, but more specifically, a player. And this player is Josh. I think it's David. I thought it was David. I think it's Peter. I can't remember what his middle name was. But then it's Josh Allen. All right. And it seems as though Josh Allen is making the rounds in people's mouths and in their minds. And they feel as though going into his third year that Joshua Allen is a candidate to compete for MVP. And I'm talking about
No one's saying that except Pierre.
Oh, hold on, because I've seen this conversation. I've seen. I'm sick of this too.
Oh.
I'm sick of it. It's not Joshua David, Jason. I thought it was Joshua David as well, but it's not. I think it's Joshua Patrick Allen. Yeah, it's Patrick. I said Peter. I knew it was with the P. But anyway, the point is this: they are trying to push the narrative that Josh Allen can compete to be MVP in the NFL. In the NFL. Here's my question. How? What exactly did he show us last year? Because sometimes people take they take a little bit of a step forward, right? Or there's multiple pieces at it, or there was a new coordinator that came to town. Something drastic happened where someone took a massive leap. Where was the leap that Josh Allen took that would actually have him in MVP conversation? Like, who are the last two MVPs of the league? I don't know if you remember. I know one of them was Lamar Jackson, and we saw how electrifying Lamar Jackson was and what he did with the Baltimore Ravens. Would they lose 2 games? They went 14-2 or something of that nature.
Yeah,
and then the year before that was, I think it was what, Pat Mahomes?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Pat Mahomes.
50 touchdowns, yeah.
50 burger TDs, 50 TDs, right? 2 back-to-back quarterbacks at MVP. All right? And those guys have come into the league within 5 years. So Josh Allen all of a sudden is going to light us up and give us MVP. We have to get out of the AFC East as the number 1 team. And we're just because our guy Tom Brady is no longer in the AFC East, it's not over yet. We still have to beat Belichick. We still have to beat Flores. But MVP chatter? Can you explain to me how? Like, let's play devil's advocate here.
Well, yeah.
Let's do that because you must be dying to tell us how he's gonna win MVP. Kev, give me what you think. What is going to get him to go to MVP? What does he need to do to be MVP?
What does he need to do?
What's he need to do? What step is he going to take that's going to get him to MVP?
He has to lead an effective passing attack, which he has yet to do. You're 30th and 26th in passing the NFL the last 2 years. I get he's young. Don't start screaming at me. But we're talking the difference between a young player improving and MVP. Like that's a big jump. You know what I mean? First off, you got to score more than 20 points a game.
Thank
You're
you.
in the bottom third of the league in scoring, passing, like in almost every conceivable stat. He's in the bottom third. Other than rushing. You know what I mean? And I just, you're a running team. You should be a running team. I can see that he might get some talk because I think the Bills are going to have a really good record this year. I think your defense is going to be fantastic. I think you're going to walk away with the division. I think you're going to make the playoffs. I think you're probably the third or fourth best team in the AFC, but in my opinion, no question in the top four. I think you're definitely below Baltimore and Kansas City, but that's not a knock on the Bills. But like,
No,
what is this? And keep in mind, Josh Allen came off of 3 turd games at the end of the year. It wasn't like he ended the year on fire either. The game against Pittsburgh was not good. The game against New England was not good. He didn't. I'm not counting the Jets game because he played like a couple snaps.
right.
And then he didn't play that well against the Texans. So it's not like there's an upwards like where he was lighting it up on fire. He hasn't even broken 266 yards passing in a game yet, and we're talking MVP. Again, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but that's a big jump from a Mahomes like 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns type MVP performance. You
So,
know?
I'm gonna take over for a little bit. Okay. I can tell that Kevin right now is very emotional about this, and
No, I just
he's sick. He's just sick.
it's
He's just sick of hearing the chatter. Now we have people that are out there campaigning MVP, MVP, MVP. Right? They're doing the whole dance. My guy Pierre the Kingpin went on a Twitter. I don't know what you want to call that, but he was getting support. They were retweeting and tweeting and liking and hearting and showing his love, and he's feeling good.
I get being excited for your young QB. I'd be the same. You know what I mean? Like every team's gonna look. Every fan has Homer goggles when it comes to his own team. And if I were you guys, I'd be excited for the potential. You picked up, Diggs and stuff like that. I get it. And again, I want to reiterate. I'm not saying bad. I'm saying that the jump from a bottom third of the league passer in every pretty much statistical category to what would probably need to be like almost 5,000 yards and at least 40 touchdown passes. He'd almost have to double his output. And that's a lot to put on his shoulders in what should be a defensive team that relies on a really good running attack, which should be a really good running attack. Because I think Singletary's fantastic, and I think Moss was a great pick.
Now, Lamar Odom is saying that in order for Josh Allen to even be considered MVP, he has to throw for 5,000 yards. He has to have 65% completion percentage, 30 touchdowns with 300 to 400 yard games. Now, that would be ideal, right? And if you're going to be the MVP, it just can't be about statistics. Now, let's talk about that for a second. You have to lead your team. Now, we do know that Josh has comeback victory talent, you know what I'm saying, within him. But he also puts us in a hole, then has to dig us back out of that hole. So it seems as though he's bringing us on a comeback, and I can't take it away from him. I'm not going to. Facts are facts. He's got comeback victories under his helmet. However, you put us in the mess first in order to get us out. Now, let me play the other way around. How can Josh get us to MVP? Now, hold on a second. Before we get there, my guy Scott Van Loo, I appreciate that. Bing biggity. Oh shit, I got a little reckless with that bell. But here it is. Bing biggity bing, my guy gave us a donation. Now, Scott Van Loo says, hey Rico, what is your take on Josh Allen's talk with the media about racism and his work out with Diggs and the chemistry they are making in the timing of the passing of the football? So, Scott, I appreciate that donation. I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Let me get to this point I'm trying to make here with Josh Allen with MVP. Those two things together just doesn't seem right me saying it. However, how he's going to do it, the addition of Diggs is the way he's going to do it. We saw what he was able to do with Cole Beasley and John Brown in his first year together, but now you've added elite talent in Stephon Diggs. That is his step there. The other way it's gonna happen is if they put him in position to win games. That's how you do it. You've got to win games. You can't win games by 1 point, 2 points. You've got to crush games. You've got to dominate games.
You got to do both. You got to have dominant stats and win games.
Yes,
to be in the MVP.
absolutely.
You can't just win games, and you can't just have stats. I mean, Garoppolo went 14 games, but he's not winning the MVP, and he still threw for 4,000 yards.
So here's another thing. Yeah, you gotta to get the MVP, like my man Kev said, you gotta up your stats. Right now, you're like the last couple years you've thrown for just over 3,000 yards. Not gonna cut it. Yeah, I mean we can bring Tyrod back. Tyrod will give you 3,000 yards. Tyrod will give you that, and I like Tyrod. I was a Tyrod guy. You already know, right? You can't give me 21 points a game, 19 if we're not even there. You can't. You have to be the single best player on the field. And guess what? On the Bills, late stretch of the season, who was the best player on the field? Devin. On offense. Devin Singletary.
Can't tackle him.
Devin Singletary was our best player on the field. Yet you want to talk about Josh Allen being MVP. Everybody take a chill pill. Relax. Let him go through a short offseason. Number one, a short offseason, not even a regular ass offseason, a short one. And let him get some chemistry first. Let us go through the first 4 games. This MVP chatter needs to stop ASAP. Now, and you know what? People might say, yo, you a hater. What's wrong with you? You tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's not about that. It's about being real. And you already know, man, Rico keeps it 100 all the time, right? And I'm not gonna play no games and try to appease to those that love the Bills and they have the goggles on. Wipe them shits off. Straight up. Anyway, we got a few donations. We got to get to them. Hold on a second. You know this. Who is this?
Oh,
the real DM3 Dave showing some love.
Here's 100% correct. Dave's back. He's on that. I think he's on the vodka he was drinking with us last year.
Dave, shame on you, first of all. Shame on you for agreeing with Pierre, and shame on you for publicly telling people that you agree with Pierre. Shame.
If Pierre says water's wet, you can't publicly go with it.
You can't. But nonetheless, I appreciate that donation, my guy. DM3 in the building, right? And by the way, since my guy DM3 is in the building,
also a Lakers fan too.
Also a Lakers fan. You got to, he's a West Coast guy. By the way, give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to Dave. He's doing his thing with the BIB built in Buffalo. If you guys haven't checked out their page, go ahead and check out their YouTube page. They got some good highlights out there. And my man Dave is putting some content out. And my guy Akeem's over there too. Shout out to BIB. Now, Len Brown showing some love. Len Brown says Josh Norman will make noise this season on the defense in this scheme. I 100% agree with you. Is something funny, sir?
When was the last time you had a good year?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Listen, we're not gonna get into that chatter right now. I'm going to let Len Brown have that comment.
Okay.
Len Brown, a shout out to you. Kev over here wants to bring back the past and talk about when's the last time.
What's his name? Who's the guy you brought back? EJ Gaines. That guy, he never stays healthy, but I like that guy.
EJ Gaines is good.
Play.
He's nice. I like that. But Josh Norman it's his position to lose. Ryan Berger says Rico and Kev should be who's gonna win the East this year.
Oh, I already said the Bills.
That's a good answer. But I will say this though, the Dolphins are not far behind. I'm telling you right now, with the year they had last year and what they've done this year in improving with free agency and the draft, and they got a hell of a damn coach that these guys are playing for, the Dolphins are not far behind. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Straight up.
Excuse me, no offensive line.
Listen, man, you guys will make it work. I know you guys will. So Josh Allen, that chatter is done with. My guy Dan Brown says, showing my love from Hawaii, spending hard-earned and unemployment cash flow. I got love for Tua, but we running this shit this year. My guy Dan Brown showing love. I like it. Hold on, what did Ryan say? Pierre's agreeing with Ryan. Hold on a second. Rico 2017, Nate Peterman MVP. Lies. First of all, don't put these in here and say Rico says MVP for Peterman. I was actually showing love to Peterman because I said that he was going to earn the starting position, and guess what? He did. And all I heard was crickets. I heard crickets from everybody because everybody was like, "Oh, he's trash. He ain't gonna do shit." And guess what? All he did was win the damn position, like I said he did.
What happened when he got in there?
That's where the however comes in. Kevin's like, that's where the however comes in. However, when the bright lights were on, he couldn't cut it. But what my prediction was that he is going to win the starting position, and he did. So y'all can kick rocks on that because your boy was right, but y'all don't want to talk about that. That's cool. So moving on to the topic that we have next. So I got to give a shout out to each and every one of you guys in here. There's 100 people watching. I know it's late, so I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of people here, which is cool. Y'all can catch us on the playback. I got me and my man Kev here in the building right now. We haven't been able to do this in a long time. We've been needing to do this. But you know what I mean? This whole COVID situation.
Oh, there's my buddy.
Who's your buddy?
He always yells at me.
Where'd you see him? Daniel Guaris?
Yeah.
Daniel Guaris. Dolphins are still at least a year away. They will win about 7 to 8 games. He's showing you love.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna win that.
He's showing you love. He's showing you love.
I think this is like, remember when the Bills, you had, what was it? Was not last year, the year before. You had you did pretty well, and then you got the rookie QB, and you only won 6 games, and then last year you had a good year. I think there'll be a parallel this year. I think this year is the take a step. No, we can't take a step back, but
you can't.
No, but probably do about the same, maybe 6-10.
Yeah,
and then hopefully next year, because Miami has yet another $60 million in cap space, 2 firsts, 2 seconds. So hopefully next year, then maybe we can. But I don't see anything this year.
I'm actually looking forward to actually watching your Dolphins play this year, because I think you guys are better than most people are giving you guys credit for. But we shall see, because it's all got to come together. Paper is something, but on the field is everything else. My guy Pierre says, Bills guys, and now Rico is about to force me out of retirement and make my Josh Allen MVP live video. Oh, please don't do that.
Oh my God.
Buffalo.
Do it with me.
Buffalo Fanatics is doing okay right now. We're doing okay, and you want to come in and
I told him
take it to a nosedive?
I told him he's got to get off the
crack?
No, not get off the crack. I told him he's got to get back in front of the camera.
Well, I mean, we'd love to see Kingpin back in front of the camera, but not doing a lot of this business of getting on that, because we all know what happened when you got on. Who's my guy? Holy shit! I gotta give a shout out to my guy Jeff King, but you went on about who did we draft in 2013? EJ Manuel. You know what I mean? You were showing love to EJ Manuel, and then look what happened. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I always have to show love to my guy Jeff King, because he supports, he does it, and I've spoken to him personally, and I say, man, I love you. I thank you for every donation that you've given, because it's appreciative. And he says, hey, don't even do that. I do it because I support you, because I love you guys. Keep doing what you do. I appreciate you, Jeff King. And he says, I could care less if Allen gets MVP. Just win the damn games.
That's the right attitude.
It is the right attitude.
That's the right attitude.
And if you win the games, you'll now get the attention of others to see, okay, what's he about? But you can't give us 10 and 11 win seasons. That's not going to give you MVP.
Does everyone hear that every time Rico says win the games, he goes into a Herm Edwards voice? You just did it again. He's like, you win the game.
You play to win the game. Oh, that's my favorite line. I love that. Herm Edwards. That's my guy. By the way, shout out to my guy Jeff King. You a real one, son. You a real one. By the way.
Someone wants to know, Dolphins or Jets, who's better?
The Dolphins.
The Jets probably have a more talented roster, but they have Adam Gase, which is a great equalizer. It'll be a real duel between the two of us for the basement. I think the Patriots.
The basement.
I think the Patriots will come second, because they still have a good defense. And Belichick's, but I think they might be able to squeeze out like 8 wins. And then the Dolphins and Jets will be somewhere around. I think Miami 6, Jets 7, Patriots 8.
Patriots 8.
Yeah, it's tough. We got to play the NFC West. That's a good.
Yeah, it's it. The AFC East is going to be something. I like how Kevin says they're going to be playing for the basement. Yeah. I think that's hilarious. My man says y'all aren't six feet apart. You're right. We aren't. But guess what? The laws in Ontario have changed, folks.
Oh, that's true.
So
patios are open.
Patios are open. You now have the distances have. I think they've shrunk. Actually, they have shrunk. You can be with 10 people, but they have to be the same 10 people in your circle. I don't go anywhere but here and work. So Kev just moved close to the crib. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this. So thank you for your concern, Mr. Sealback. But the Canadian government, specifically Ontario, has allowed this to happen. So we are respecting the guidelines. Moving on. My guy says, Len Brown says, Kev got to speak up. Yo,
Yeah.
you gotta stop being
We'll
Rico Suave.
bring this a little.
Bring a little
There
closer.
you
Get the
go.
mic to the mouth.
That way I can speak the same volume, but
There you
it's
go. Yeah, I speak a little loud. If y'all can still hear me naturally, perfect.
no one's ever not been able to hear you.
If y'all can still hear me, perfect. And then Kev can have the mic, and then I'm gonna use my deep Barry White voice and make this thing happen. Rico was coughing last live show. I don't know, man.
Remember when he cut the clip out?
You know when I was coughing?
And he put it on Twitter.
Yeah, you clown.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next topic, and so very recently, I was just on a show with Ryan Talbot and Matt Perino with Buffalo NY up. He always puts that up there. So he actually had a power podcast. I think I can call it a power podcast. He had a power podcast with myself. He had the Rock Pile Boys, Drew and Chris. He had Greg Thompset from Cover One. He had Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. Who am I missing? He had Cold Front Report with Mookie as well. He had my man JTM. I feel like I'm missing one more person. And he had Nick and Nolan, the Nick from Nick and Nolan show. I think they're no longer together or whatnot, but they had those two gentlemen together. So there was quite a guest line of people on that show. And we all had to, which is really fun, everybody had to bring a topic to the table. And when you brought your topic to the table, you had to state it and debate it. All right. So the first crew that came in was Bruce Exclusive and Nick Bat, I believe his name is. And they talked on what was their topic? Their topic was, oh yes, it was a good one. By the way, I got to give a shout out to my guy Jeffrey Green. Jeffrey Green says, "Hey Rico, I love your content. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do Office early this year?" I don't understand that. Can you let me try to bring that back? I love your content. What are you gonna do to the office? Do in the office to the offense? What's he trying to say? Yo, retype that for me, my man, because I can't quite get that. Did you do it again?
Yeah, he's under there.
What do you think of the offense this year? Okay, my bad, man. You didn't have to do another donation, but I appreciate that anyway. What do you think of the offense this year and 30 points? If they're going to put up 30 points a game? Ooh, I really don't. Oh, yes. I apologize. Trainwreck. The Trainwreck boys were on there as well. I feel bad, man, because the man with the mustache, I think his name is Al, was having a very hard time with his mic, and he was visibly upset. I felt his pain because I've been there before. I've recorded podcasts, I've recorded videos where I thought I was recording and I wasn't, or I've recorded and the volume wasn't working. I'm like, and I put a lot of energy into that, and then it just didn't work. It's just the life of a content creator. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys with the donations. But Trainwreck Sports did a great job on there too. They're a fun bunch of dudes, man, and we love it. So Jeffrey Green. So I understand your comment. Your question was, how do you think the offense is going to do this year, and are we going to put up over 30 points a game? 30 points a game, I don't think we will get there. I don't think we have the offensive firepower to put up 30 plus points a game. However,
I think go ahead.
Yeah, I do think we have the pieces to actually get us close into the 25-point game range, 23 to 24, 5 points or so. I think we have enough on offense to do that, right? With the run game, as well as a solid offensive line that can keep Josh Allen upright, and with the addition of elite receiver in Stephon Diggs. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if you continue to go with the theme that it's a running based attack, whether that's Moss or Singletary or Allen at fullback or whatever you want to do. Like it's going to be hard. It's harder to score 30 points a game when you're trying to grind it out and then set up some play action passing and stuff like that. But you don't need to score 30 points a game. I think their offense should be improved. Obviously, Diggs is going to help. Some of your young linemen should be in a year better. Singletary's in there. I think Moss is going to be a nice upgrade as a backup running back. Should be better this year. But I think your 25 points a game is a realistic goal. With the defense that you have, if you can score more than 24 points, you should win almost every game because your defense is going to hold them to that.
And that's where I'm going to agree with you, because the one thing that we don't talk about is this defense. This defense is a solid defense. I'm not going to say elite, but when you
You were
2 years in a
number
row. Yeah,
number
2 years
two.
in a
Yeah.
row, 2 to 3 years in a row, and you're a top 5, top 10 defense, top 10, top 10, top 5, yeah, top 5 defense. You're close to elite. I th-
I think it's an elite unit. I think that it's arguably, if not the best, just because it's off the top of my head, then say top three back sevens in the NFL. I think between Milano and Edmonds, and then White and your safety duo, and then whoever you throw in. I like Teron Johnson in the nickel. I think Saron Neal has a nice role. Um,
Look at you naming
you
off these
know,
players.
so
What makes you proud?
and then whether it's Wallace or whoever's your second corner, I think that that's an elite back seven. I think Ed Oliver should get better. You got what's his name coming back there, the what's his name, the DT that got hurt all last year.
Oh, you're talking about Harrison Phillips?
Harrison Phillips is
Yep,
coming back. The Invisible Man is back.
the Visible Man.
The Invisible Man there, Jerry Hughes.
Oh wow,
Uh,
you're back with that
but
Jerry Hughes shade.
nah,
How did I not
nah,
miss
nah.
that? How did I see that
But
coming? You set me up.
I think Addison's a good player, and I think Jefferson's going to be a real key pickup. I really like Jefferson, Quentin Jefferson
Yep,
from Seattle
great
last
pickup.
year. I was laughing. I think I said this before. I would watch a Seattle game last year, and
Yep.
this Jefferson guy kept making plays, and I was like, "Who is this guy? I've never even heard of him."
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the next game, and then I was like, "This bum again?" And then I watched the next
This
game.
bum.
Well, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you don't
for
know,
sure. Who the
right?
hell is
And
this
then,
guy?
and then the next game, you're like, "Holy shit!" So it was like 3, 4, 5 games I saw, because I saw a lot of Seattle. I had Russell Wilson in a couple of fantasy pools, and he was awesome. Like he was really, really good. I think he's going to be a good pickup. I think you put him inside with Ed Oliver on passing downs, and you can
Yep.
see something. And I think Addison's a threat to get double-digit sacks. That's an elite defense. I
You
mean,
know what?
that's the backbone of your team.
I see. I elite to me. I mean, I hate to throw the word elite. That's why I didn't want to. I didn't want to put it out there.
Well,
They're just yeah. They're
elite.
good, man. That defense is cream of the crop. So I'm gonna call it elite. It is an elite defense. Now with that elite defense, and I'm gonna get to you, Jeffrey Green. Do you think Josh Allen would be more of a game manager? He doesn't. He wants nothing to do with being a game manager. Let me tell you that right now. And he answered that in the press conference. And they asked him about check down. And he's like, I'm not about no check down. I'm about going for it. I want to win. I want to make plays. So you can be rest assured that you're not going to see Josh Allen, the game manager. That's not part of his repertoire. He's not going to do it.
His most effective part of his game last year was his quick passing to Beasley and stuff. He was like completely ineffective throwing the ball deep. Like that's literally was his game last year, was to take the quick things.
So
I think at his best, not throw out the term game manager because
yeah,
it's got a negative connotation, but I
it
think
does.
for
It does.
him
You're
to
right.
play at his best, you have an elite defense in my mind, or at least a top 5 unit.
Yep.
Run the ball and then play action. Get him on the edge. Get him on the bootlegs. Get him in the corner. Threaten, because that's his best weapon is his legs right now.
Yep.
And then get him on the edge. And then when the defense comes up, you go over top to Diggs. You go over top to Brown. You go over top to Knox and hope he can hit him this year. That's in my mind your best success. I would think that I've always said Josh Allen, to me, his comp is John Elway. And I think putting him in that Shanahan type offense would be where he would thrive,
Right.
because you were always challenging people on bootlegs. The defense has to be cognizant of his willingness to run the ball.
Absolutely.
And then you go over top. You just pound it to them, and then you go over top. And all you have to do is score more than 24 points a game, and you're going to win 11 games because your defense isn't going to give up more than 24 points a game often.
And I'm gonna piggyback that because this elite defense chatter is what is going to propel this team to the 11, 12, 13 win season. I say 13. I wince when I say 13 because that's something that would be a dream, but we have to put the points up to even get there. Because let's talk about it. Defense. What's the saying? Defense wins championships, but the offense gets you to the game, to the championship, right? So you got to get there by scoring points. And this elite defense that we have is going to help us. But Josh Allen has to help the defense, because too often where the defense would hold, we can't hold long enough, right? We can't hold the whole game because at one point we're going to break. We need the offense to now break through. We've been at that point where we're getting to that 2 touchdowns a game type of thing and getting a field goal or 2 in there,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we stall, and then the defense stalls, and then we screw up.
I got to talk to Pierre now. Pierre keeps asking the same senseless question. Pierre, who do the Saints have outside of Michael Thomas?
Is this what you're getting to?
Who do the
Okay,
Saints
perfect.
have outside of Michael Thomas? Who did Ryan Fitzpatrick have last year outside of Devontae Parker? Who did Tom Brady have? Period. There's a litany of quarterbacks that have gone. Who did Kyler Murray have? Old man Fitzgerald. Like, who did these guys have? And they put up more better than the 26th ranked passing offense. I'm tired of that excuse. Like, there are other quarterbacks that have put up better stats with weaker supporting cast. Keep in mind, because of your defense, you guys were playing either from a lead most of the season, or you were like within 3 points. So you were never in obvious passing situations. You were never down big and had to throw against like teams geared up against the pass. Like, this is not a valid question. No one is surrounded by all-stars everywhere.
No.
And they can still do better than barely cracking 3,000 yards passing, being in the bottom third in completion percentage, and being and even if they were open, he's not hitting anyone deep. He missed Knox.
Right.
Should have beaten the Patriots.
Let me tell you something. Right now, Pierre and a slew of others are on this and it happens to us. And I forgive Pierre for this, people. Forgive him. He doesn't know any better right now. But he's dying on this hill and he doesn't even know it. He's dying on the hill. He's on the hill. He got to the top of the hill, says, Josh Allen, who's with me? There's a few other people. But the thing is, they don't realize that hill is poisonous.
Yeah.
You're slowly dying. And you're still, you got a little bit of fight in you. Cut it out.
And again,
stop it.
We're not saying he's bad. No one's saying that.
Not at all. That's my team.
But just like,
stop it.
Oh my God. Just how about, like, is he still a young dude? He just had his birthday, I think it was.
Yeah, he's like, what, 23?
He just turned 23.
23 or 24.
Like let him
young
have
boy.
you can't, why put all that pressure on him? He doesn't need that. He, like, run the ball and let your defense. Someone wrote, the Chiefs defense won the Super Bowl. No,
but they also had a quarterback that can freaking throw the rock. Like, what? Who's that? Aaron Clark?
Yeah, like, because you said defense wins championships, but
you got to get there with the offense. And you have to get there with the offense. Well, that was my point.
Yeah, I mean, who did they play in the Super Bowl? They played the 49ers, who was there because of their defense. So in this particular instance, the offense was better than the defense. But most often than not, if you have an elite defense, it's going to carry you far. An elite offense will carry you far too. It just seems to be a bit sometimes harder to sustain. And sometimes if you run into a bad weather game or a rainy day or something like that, then it can throw you off. Whereas a defense you can carry anywhere, in any condition, in any time.
Listen, I hear that, man, and I'm gonna. By the way, I'm gonna take a little break right now, and for those listening on radio, because I'm gonna record this to an audio so we can have this going out there. This is the Buffalo Fanatics. You're joined by the host Rico and my special guest Kev Girard. He is a Dolphins fan, but you might as well call him a Bills fan because the man knows his stuff. Furthermore, I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you guys tuned in. There's 100 people viewing right now, and there's gonna be probably 1,000 others listening. So do me a favor, for those that are watching, click that like, subscribe, show love to the Buffalo Fanatics. For those that are listening, hit us up on our social media platforms. I am RealRico_BF. I got my guy Kev Girard. His is just Kev Girard on the Twitter. And listen, man, he talks all things basketball and football. Do you talk hockey?
No.
No, you don't talk hockey?
No. College football.
He says nah.
Like, I'm not opposed to it, but like
I got you.
College football, NFL, and NBA. I
got you. So we're gonna move on to the next. My man Pierre's like, yo, get to the next topic. This poisonous hill. Gonna feel good being on this sneaky poisonous hill. Yeah, you gonna die, brother. You gonna die, and I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna walk by and be like, look at Pierre on that hill. All he had to do was get off the hill, but he didn't want to do that. So anyway, so that being said, Scott Blakely's in the building. What does Scott Blakely say? Totally disagree. And the intangibles are not measurable in the stats, and now on this show, in my opinion. So let me get this right. You're disagreeing with Josh Allen being MVP?
No, yeah, he's trying to say that we're dismissing Josh Allen.
His intangibles.
Because of his intangibles.
Got it.
Like when he's throwing laterals over the back of his head in the middle of a playoff game, or taking sacks on third down and making it fourth down at 37 or something. Those intangibles.
Now, here's the thing, Scott. We were talking about him being MVP. We're not trashing Josh Allen, the player, and the quarterback that he can be. Because I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league for a very long time. But MVP going into year 3, I don't think so. Now, the intangibles, excuse me. Yes, the intangible things that you can't see that he does for the team and that propels him to victories. Yes, that's something he brings to the table. But at the end of the day, when you got to win MVP, you've got to be the most valuable player on your team, and you've got to be the most valuable player in the league. If you're not even the best player on your team right now, or at least at the end of the season, because the main person was Devin Singletary. So miss me with the whole MVP chat until he shows me something this coming first 4 games. I need to see some of the first 4 games. That'll give me an indication, at least an indication to see where we're at
And
and
you
where.
don't, yeah, and you don't mean play well. You mean play as the MVP.
Yes, as the most valuable player. Like you can't like.
Sorry, Scott, but I thought that's what you were talking about, buddy. Because that was
What did he say?
He
He
said
says,
no, he's not talking about MVP. That's all our arguments
yeah,
right now.
that was
Scott
correct.
is arguing for not that he's trash or bad. It's literally that Pierre and I have been going back and forth for 2 days about how he's an MVP candidate, and I think it's a little premature for that.
For sure.
Let's see how the season starts.
Let's see how it plays out. So we're gonna move to the next topic. So the next topic is one of the topics that was brought up by one of the from the Nick and Nolan show. It was those two gentlemen brought up this point on the show that I was on with Matt Perino and Ryan Talbot. So the debate question was between Brian Dable and Leslie Frazier. If Josh Allen has a fantastic statistical season, but the team wins the same amount of games and we have the same results, we make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round, but statistically he was much better. Who out of these coaches would be the most likely to land a head coaching job between Leslie Frazier and Brian Dable? To me, it's a no-brainer. Whether he goes up and has a better statistical year, but we finish the same way, to me is Leslie Frazier. I think Leslie Frazier will be the person that gets the job. He's likely to get a head coaching job between the two because he's been there before. He's got the experience on being a head coach. He had a little bit of success.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, he's led this team now 2 years out of the 3 that they've been there, freaking to top 5 defense. How do you not give that an opportunity to be a head coach?
Well, he has been a head coach. And he was really
I'm talking
bad.
about another one.
Yeah.
Another
Has
opportunity.
Dable been a head coach before?
No, I don't think he has. He's always been an offensive
I
coordinator.
feel like you might have to. So the premise is if Allen goes out and has an MVP like season, right?
Sure.
If that's the case, I think Dable's more likely to get a shot because Dable has that. I've worked with Nick Saban. I've worked with Bill Belichick. I've done all these. I've worked with all these giants.
Right.
Plus, if he shows that he can develop a quarterback like that into an MVP thing, that's huge. Like, look at Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for LSU. He turned around Joe Burrows, and now all of a sudden he's the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. Frazier had a real rough tenure with Minnesota, including like a 3-13 season at one point.
Right, but he also had a year that
he's a very good defensive coordinator. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a shot down the road.
Right.
But I think that if Allen comes out and has an MVP season, they're going to look at how he developed this guy. And in the NFL, the most important thing is your quarterback and a guy that can, quote, proven that he can develop a raw quarterback and make him an MVP is huge.
And to me, it makes a lot of sense if you look at it on the offensive side and statistical side, because in this league it's about putting points on the board and scoring, but the history is not on the side of Brian Dable.
No, but we're saying if
I get it,
the only way Allen would have an MVP season is if your offense was
for
scoring,
sure,
right?
But you got to also look at the history of someone. You got to look at you can't just give me one good season and I'm not going to look back at what you've given me. Was it a fluke? Have you been consistent with having quarterbacks do well? You had 1 year that he did it. Was it because of you, Brian Dable, or was it because of Dorsey? Right. So there's a little bit more. There's layers into him getting an opportunity.
The guy I named, Joe Brady from LSU, he had Joe Burrow 1 year, and now he's getting.
And we're about to find out if that's a mistake or not.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that that'll carry you along.
And I totally get it. So I found out it was a fantastic question because both have been in conversation of potentially getting a head coaching job. I just saw one of the comments that came on in the chat here was saying Leslie Frazier was I guess was reported saying that he's not interested in a head coaching job. I don't know any head coach. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Maybe you saw it somewhere, but I don't know any coordinator that is in the position of coordinating a defense or offense that doesn't want an opportunity to run their own team. You go to that position so you can propel yourself to the next level of being a head coach again. Whether true or not, very interesting. So I wanted to touch on that. We kind of touched on that.
Okay.
Just want to give you guys the opportunity to answer this as well. If any of those gentlemen were available to like, if who, excuse me, let me rephrase that. If one of them were to get a head coaching gig, who would it be? Would it be Brian Dable or Leslie Frazier? Even if we had a better statistical year from Josh Allen, but we lost in the first round, same results. Who gets it? Would it be Leslie Frazier or is it Brian Dable? I still think it'd be Leslie Frazier, based on his history and the respect that he gets around the league. And they both get respect. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at the history of Brian Dable and what he's done with the quarterbacks and where he's ranked offensively, has not been good. So it'd be interesting, nonetheless. So we are going to move to the third topic of the night because Josh Allen was the first. Second was the Brian Dable, Leslie Frazier topic. And third topic is the receiving core. Right now, this topic was brought up by Joe Marino. Joe Marino wanted to talk about the receiving core and how interesting it's going to be on who makes the squad. Now, this one is an interesting one. I'm going to be curious to see how you guys feel about what we do. Scott Blakely says Leslie Frazier is going to be a head coach next year. It's certain. I think so too, man. If one of these coordinators is going to leave, it'd be, in my opinion, I think it'd be Leslie Frazier. I think he's the more attractive candidate to be a head coach. Who do you want leading your men?
Yeah,
That's what it comes
and
down
I'm
to.
not saying I think
And I
Dable
get
is
it.
the better option. I said I think he's would be if Allen has an MVP season, then he would might be perceived as being the better option. I'm not saying I'd hire him, but I'm saying I could see him likely getting a shot because they're hoping that he can do it again with another young QB.
Totally get it. And I respect your point of view as well because it does make sense what you're saying. It does. When you see one guy propel a quarterback to crazy heights, wait a minute, who got him there? Oh, Brian Dable got Josh Allen to 45 touchdowns this year to 6,000 yards passing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we gotta get Brian Dable on the line. I totally get that part as well. So moving on to receiving core. So we are in a favorable position when it comes to who we have on the receiving in our receiving room. All right. So I wrote down just in case Mr. Kevin Gerard doesn't know who our receivers are on the
I know
squad.
all the receivers.
Then let me put this list away. So basically, we kept 6 receivers. Joe Marino was like, listen, man, we kept 6 receivers last year, and the trend will probably be to keep 6 receivers this year. However, because the roster has now been increased by, what, I think 2 players from
Yeah.
53 to 55,
Yeah.
there's a potential that we can actually keep more than 6 receivers. By the way, shout out to my guy, Jeff King. He says Frazier is the better leader. And I agree. He's the better leader. He's the leader of men, well respected by his players. They play for him. And I think that any owner would be wise enough to bring on a Leslie Frazier, especially if you want to lead a young nucleus of players on your team. You need a veteran guy that's been in the league a long time and that can reach players. And I think Leslie Frazier falls under that category. So that being said, we're going to move on to the receiving room. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff King. You're the man. So, receiving room. We already know who the big 3 are. Who are the big 3 on the Bills?
You're gonna have Diggs. You're gonna have Brown, and you're gonna have Beasley.
Perfect. So we've got those 3. Those are the big 3. Our big 3, right? Diggs, elite receiver, inside, outside, speed, route running. He's got it all, right? And he's got a bit of dog to him. And that's exactly what we need on this offense. Then you got Cole Beasley, the route running specialist inside the hashes, right? So he can get inside, he can get outside, and no linebacker is going to stay with him. I can guarantee you that. There's nobody quick enough to stay with Cole Beasley. And then we've got John Brown. John Brown is the quintessential complementary receiver, especially right now, because he was our number 1 receiver last year. He got over 1,000 yards receiving, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he got over 1,000 yards receiving. And he was our guy. He was the guy that would stretch the field. So now you have a bona fide elite receiver in Diggs, and then you have a 1,000-yard receiver in John Brown that's going to be complimentary to him on the outside. You can't ask for any better. This is why there's going to be a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. So those are your big 3. Then we drafted Gabe Davis, Isaiah Hodgins. And then we also have Andre Roberts, which is our specialist. We know we need a specialist. We know we have a Pro Bowler in Roberts. That's a no-brainer for me. He's receiver 4. Now, whether he gets in as receiver 4, I'm just going by the numbers. So those are the 4. I feel like I've talked about this so often. So we got 4. This is where things get interesting. Do we keep 6? So who are the other 2 that we keep? Joe Marino is under the impression that we should keep Robert Foster, and he made a freaking fantastic argument for Foster, and I had Foster dismissed, and I have to say that I am now on board to consider having Foster on the roster, and I thought he was done, data, over with. So he went with the 5 that I just mentioned: Gabe Davis, Roberts, and then he took Isaiah McKenzie as the receiver 6. But then this is where he made the argument. Do you go with Isaiah McKenzie that can give you the jet sweeps, give you the ins and outs, and gives you all the little gadget plays that you can do? Or do you go with Robert Foster that's got the speed, that's got the ability to be a nice receiver? Because we saw proof of that in year 1 with Josh Allen near the end of the season, that can give you the jet sweeps, that can give you special teams ability as well. Who's more valuable? Of course, it has to be Robert Foster. I didn't think of that.
Not only that, but
Mhm.
Andre Roberts can duplicate a lot of the things you do with Isaiah McKenzie.
Absolutely. So then I've got one person that's left off the freaking team, and that's Duke Williams
And Isaiah Hodgins.
and Isaiah Hodgins. So you drafted both. You drafted Isaiah Hodgins, and then you got Duke Williams that was your top dog in the playoffs. I'm talking about when your biggest players are supposed to shine the brightest, they didn't in John Brown. John Brown was an afterthought. Duke Williams was the guy that you're going after. When you have a receiver that you're going after 10 targets, why? You tend to ask yourself why. Why did Josh Allen feel so inclined to go after Duke Williams 10 times when you got the better receivers in John Brown and Cole Beasley? That's because, and I'm going to use Pierre on this. Pierre thinks that Josh Allen needed some guy that emits the dog in him, aggressiveness, you know what I mean, wanting the rock and all that stuff. And I think that's what Duke Williams gave him. A big target that's not afraid to do anything that he needs him to do. I'll throw you the ball, you go get it. But now that we got Diggs, what do we do with Duke? What do you think happens to Duke? Does he make this roster? Do we keep 6 or are we going with 7 receivers? What are your thoughts?
I don't think Duke makes it. I think that if it comes down to like him or a guy like Hodgins who they drafted, invested a draft pick in, I think they're more likely to go with Hodgins because he's younger, and they probably like his upside a little bit better. I think that Foster, unfortunately, is going to get probably the odd man out. Um, Maybe they can. I don't know if he still has practice squad eligibility. I would assume so. They could try and stash him
Yeah, we
there.
can see that, yeah.
But I mean, if you want to keep Roberts as a return guy and your special teams guy, I'm on board with that. So him and your 3 is 4. I think they definitely keep Davis. That's 5, and I think they're going to keep the other rookie.
Hodges?
Yeah, and like obviously training camp or
Yeah.
the however many exhibition games they play, if they play in, he's going to determine these things.
Yep.
But normally coaches just tend to go with players who they've invested draft picks in over like street free agents that they picked up. Especially when they're young and cheap and Foster. How old's Williams now?
Williams, oh, he's like 26,
If
27. Duke
if
Williams?
not, yeah, maybe 27,
27, yeah.
28.
Yeah,
'Cause
maybe
he
around
played
there.
for a while in the
Yeah.
CFL, right?
Mm.
Um, and Davis is pretty good at those, and Hodgins are both pretty good at those contested catches down the field,
Okay.
which is what Williams brings to the table, right?
So,
So my argument against McKenzie is that you have similar duplication in skills in Andre Roberts. So if these rookies can kind of duplicate what Williams gives you, I think they go with the younger guys who they invested draft choices in.
so that's if we keep 6.
Mm-hmm.
What if we go 7? So who would you keep as your
So
7th?
then your 7th is either McKenzie, Williams, or Foster. And I would see them probably leaning towards Foster only because I think he has practice squad eligibility. So if they have to, they can put him on the squad. They can call someone else up. It gives them a little bit more flexibility. You might be able to do it McKenzie. I'm not sure. but I don't think I don't like. I'd have to double check on that. But if all things being equal, I would keep Foster over Williams and McKenzie because I think he just has a higher upside. And again, if I'm running the Bills, I'm pounding the ball, drawing the defense up, and then using these speed guys to get behind them for big plays.
See, I had to write it down. So sometimes I get myself mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, when I look at the receiving core, the final receiving core, I believe we go 7 receivers. I don't think that we have the um, I don't think they want to stash anybody on the practice squad, and especially a guy like a Hodgins because he would be snatched real quick. You can get away with stashing a McKenzie,
Yeah.
because then you can kind of play around and get him back. So to me, I look at it this: I see Diggs, Cole, Brown as your 3, Roberts as your 4, Gabe Davis as your 5, Duke as your 6, Hodgins as your 7. Now, this is the thing with the Hodgins thing though. Hodgins and Duke are one and the same. They're two of the receivers are the same, but the difference between the two is one's got the experience and one doesn't. So, but the question is, do you stash Hodgins onto the practice squad, risking that someone stashes and takes him away, or do you put him on the roster and you risk McKenzie? That's the way I look at it. I risk McKenzie. Foster, to me, I think that you've had your opportunity 2 years now to get your act together, and you still weren't able to do it. Even when they force fed you, it just wasn't happening. So I don't know another offseason, a shortened offseason is going to help your case. I think Foster is not going to make the team. I think he gets cut. I've been wrong before. I may be wrong again, but in this case, I think this is what the offensive receiving core is going to look like. Diggs, Cole, Brown, Roberts, Gabe Davis, Duke Williams, Isaiah Hodgins. Book that shit. That's going to be the receiving core for Josh Allen this year. Any opposition to that, sir?
No, I have
You like that
6
one?
of your 7. I
Yeah,
just would probably swap out Foster for Williams just
I
because I
like
think
that.
Foster has a higher ceiling. But I mean, when you're talking your 7th wide receiver, to me, I'm looking for a guy who has a little bit more special teams utilage,
I like
which
that. Okay.
Foster can play gunner in the coverage teams. And you're looking for the guy who's got a bit more upside. And I think just because he's younger, um, that's why I would
No,
keep
I
him.
hear you. I hear you on that. So that's the receiving core. I think Scott Blakely seems to be on point. My G, Scott Blakely, salute to you. Juan Castillo, man, I had to show you some love, brother. I had to show you some love. I had to let that thing rang. Um, so, what's my guy? AJM Paris says, my dudes, how do we convince our organization to go with 90s uniforms as the main, the main fit? I mean, a game or two to go with a 90s look would be dope, like a little throwback. You know what I'm saying?
I like the red helmets, man.
You like the red
I
helmets?
like the
The
red
red helmets are
helmets. Yeah,
dope. I like
nice.
that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, because apparently to make those uniform switches, it's a lot of a contractual thing, and I mean, things in the background that don't allow us to just pick any uniform we want to. Everything is planned out to a T. You know what I'm saying? In the month of October, what is October is breast cancer awareness,
Awareness. Yeah.
right? And then I think in September, I think there's another awareness that we do. So like everything is contractually based on what you're gonna wear, how you're gonna wear it, what shoes, what this, that, the third. I mean, I don't know about all that stuff. I mean, they try to police the whole shoes situation, but uniforms already set and in. There's nothing much that we can do about it. Who the hell mentioned Rayron McLeod? Seventh guy, Rayron McLeod. Boy, you still stop with the clown nonsense. I know you're trying to troll. I get it. I get it. I get it. So moving on to the next topic. I'd like you to bring on to the next topic, Kev. The next topic, I want you to bring it in, is topic number 3.
Keep or cut Trent Murphy. That's you wanted my
Your
take
take.
on that.
So one of the Greg Thompson from Cover One Sports brought up Trent Murphy and whether we should keep him or cut him. And he was of the mindset to keep, and he gave the and he played both sides, but he gave us the reasoning that we should keep him financially and what he's going to bring to the team. So what are your thoughts on Trent Murphy and how you feel about him remaining on the Bills?
Depends on how many defensive ends you keep, right? If you keep 5, then fine. If you keep 4, I would get rid of them. You're gonna have Hughes, you're gonna have Addison, you're gonna have Epinesa, and you're gonna have Daryl Johnson there, your 7th rounder from last year.
Yep.
And Daryl Johnson played really well in the preseason. I think he showed some flashes. I would keep him over Trent Murphy, especially due to the salary that Murphy has.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to keep 5 defensive ends, then why not keep them? You know,
Oh, that's harsh. The worst signing the Bills have ever made.
well,
I've seen
no,
some worse.
yeah,
Do you remember Derek Dockery? You remember
yeah,
that debauchery?
yeah. You paid a lot of money for that guy.
Golly, man. So
Um, yeah, that's what I would do. I don't think he moves the needle either way. I mean, it's always good to have a veteran guy who, he's going to be better than a street free agent. But if you need, and you're not really hurting for cap space, like if you were up against the cap, I'd be like, get rid of him, no question, because then, you'd save that money. But you're not. So, if you're going to keep 5, keep him. If you're going to keep 4, I would definitely cut him over Johnson.
see, I think. See, here's the thing. I respect.
This is the last year of Murphy's contract.
This
Isn't
is
it?
the last year.
Yeah,
That
so
is
he's
correct.
he's gone after this year anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like cutting him saves you any money next year.
But here's the crazy thing. He's right now owed like $8-9 million right now. Like you can't honestly think that we're gonna keep him at $8 to $9 million. Now, is he gonna take a pay cut?
What do you
When it comes down,
what do you need the 9 million for this year? Like
We keep-
in your guys' minds,
Mhm.
right? You're trying to make a deep playoff push. You're trying to
Right.
win a playoff game this
Yep.
year, right? So again, I'm not saying you should keep him. I'm just presenting the argument why you would. If you're going to, if you're, Jesus, if you're going to, if you're going to make a playoff push, having a veteran pass rusher on your team, I get that he didn't live up to expectations. I get that he didn't play as well as we thought.
Right.
I'm not expecting him to do anything. But again, if his contract expires at the end of the year and he's not going to count any cap against last year, unless you're planning on cutting a bunch of people, including him, to go out and sign Jadeveon Clowney, like, what do you need the money for this year? Like, why? I don't believe he'd have dead cap. Maybe he would.
I'm gonna look up the dead cap.
That's mine.
Should
Yeah.
I leave my phone upstairs? I left my
Yeah.
phone's upstairs. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's got dead cap because, like I said, it's an expiring contract. So if you cut him and get dead cap money when you could literally just let his contract expire at the end of the year and not, I think that would be, the wiser choice. It depends on how much of his bonus that he has left over his length of his contract.
See, and that's the thing with when I look at this.
Who's
this
your
off-
fifth? Who am I missing? Some guy wrote we have 5 Ds without. Trent.
Well, here's the thing. You got Trent. You got. So let's
Oh,
go.
he's talking about Richardson. Sorry, I was also thinking Richardson was a little bit more of an inside rusher.
Jefferson.
It's Jefferson. Sorry,
Yeah.
he's talking about Jefferson. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If you're gonna play Jefferson outside more, then get rid of Murphy.
And that's the thing.
Because you don't want to lose. You just signed Addison and Jefferson, so you're not going to get rid of them, and you don't want to lose Johnson because he looked like he had some talent. So see if you can develop that, and you need some youth on that line because Hughes and Addison are like gonna by the time the season ends, I think they're 33 and 34 years old, or they're 32 and 33. It's one or the other.
See, and money aside, let's not talk about the money that he's owed. Let's talk about the player himself. With the player himself, he doesn't wow me. Okay? He does not wow me. He doesn't do anything special that makes me say, okay, like we need him for this reason. We need a pass specialist. No, he doesn't wow me. He's just there. He's to me, in my opinion, a body, right? I personally would put in Johnson over top of him. We just drafted Epinesa. Like we have Jefferson that can play outside. We got Mario Addison. We got Jerry Hughes. What do I need with him right now? Now, the only reason that I would say we'd keep him is for depth. Depth, because we all know that Leslie Frazier and McDermott like to keep a fresh set of legs, rotation on the front lines. So that would be the reason I think they'd keep him. But if you paying this man, now I got to get back to the money because sometimes you got to follow the money. You know what I'm saying? And the money, when I follow the money, it brings me to cut Murphy. Because I just don't see us keeping him on the squad. Are you looking up his?
So his cap hits 9.775, and only a dead cap of 1.75. So
we'll eat that.
You'd save $8 million by cutting him.
Dude, that's a no-brainer. I'll eat that $1.7 million, man. I would gladly take that. Are you kidding me? And he's slow off the line, man. Like he's slow off the line. Go back and just put on a random game and just watch Murphy. Watch Murphy and then watch the rest of the guys on the line. He's a step slow. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, I'm not interested in that. I'm like, and for the money that they're paying him, boy, you can stay on until late into the offseason. And if everybody's healthy, bye bye. If we lose a player, at least we have the depth in having Murphy on the squad, and that's that. I'm not touching more on that. To me, if it were up to me, I'd be cutting his ass and saying bye bye, see you later. And he's just not worth the money that we're gonna have given to him. So that was topic number 4. We are going to now hit up topic number 5. And topic number 5 was brought up by the Rock Power Report. And their topic was the short off season. And you watched a little bit of the video. The short off season that we have, how impactful will the rookies be in such a short off season? I'm going to let you touch on this before I give my opinion on that. So, what are your thoughts? And that affects you as the Dolphins as well.
Yeah.
So, how effective can they be? And who is going to be effective?
Like, well, it's obviously going to be, detrimental to these guys because they don't have mini camps, they don't have OTAs, they don't have, they're not going to, I don't think they're going to have a full training camp, although they are saying they're trying to get in for July.
Right.
I don't think they're going to have the 4 preseason games. It'll be tougher for the rookies, but the easiest position for a rookie to play to come in and compete is running back. So Moss should be fine.
Yep.
They rarely have trouble transitioning, and he's not a bad pass block, pass protection. So I don't think that he's going to encounter too many difficulties. I don't expect Epinesa to have a huge role at the beginning of the year, anyways.
Okay.
Because you've got, like we said earlier, you've got Hughes, you've got Addison, you've got Jefferson,
Yep.
you've got Johnson. Right now you have Murphy on the outside, and then on the inside you've got Harrison Phillips, you got Ed Star Latule, you got Perry or
Yep.
Ed Oliver, sorry.
Yep.
And so I think he's a good selection. I think he's going to be a good player.
Vernon Butler as
but
well.
he doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to come in and contribute a lot right away. I think you'll see him eased in.
Okay, I respect that.
And like they pointed out, McDermott's trend is not really to play a lot of rookies
Correct.
unless it's an absolute position of need. Like
Yep.
you didn't have anyone else, so Trey White played. You that kind of thing. You tried to not play Allen. You tried to let Peterman start the season, but we saw what happened, so you had to throw him in there. So
I hear you. And Scott Blakely says that we need depth, Rico. We assume that they will have blessings of no injuries this year. He protects the edge, and I agree. And that's if we stay healthy. I can't see them keeping him if we're all healthy, but we keep him for the depth and because he's familiar with the system. So I completely understand that.
The Bills were the healthiest team I've ever seen last year.
Listen,
you never had a single key starter go out for the year, not one.
And
like
that
everyone stayed healthy. You got that new what is it, like a health center?
Yeah, we got
you
a
the
new
health
facility,
science.
a new facility at the stadium.
Yeah.
That these guys are there all the time, and our conditioning team is
Really-
one of the best in the league.
really paid dividends because
For sure.
no one goes through a season without losing at least 1 or 2 starters, and you guys lost no one. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, and I don't
Yeah.
think it gets talked about enough.
We got lucky.
That you get. Well, no, I'm saying about this like health science center that you guys invested a lot of money into.
Yeah.
Who? Morse?
Morris, our center.
Yeah.
I mean, he was out a few games. He was out a couple games, but it was concussion.
We're talking about like someone who's out for the year, like
Yeah.
like a key player, like someone who misses like 10 or more, 12 games, that sort of thing. Everyone's going to have minor injuries, but not one starter missed like I don't think more than 6-7 games due to injury.
Yeah, except for Phillips when Phillips went down, but
But even then, was he a starter?
he was pushing to be. He was pushing to be. But y'all get the point. What I'm trying to make is we've stayed relatively healthy all year long. If we had nicks and bruises, I mean, guys missing 2 to 3 games, we always had great depth in behind, right? Singletary goes down, Frank Gore took over, and Frank Gore was actually having a good start of the season. Dude had I think he finished the year with 400 plus yards. He just tailed off at the end of the season, so we had great depth in the interior. When we had Ed Oliver and Starr, when Harrison went down. I mean, stuff happens, right? We had Jordan Phillips in there as well. So we have great depth all around, defensive, offensively, and that's a testament to the care that this front office is willing to put in because we've seen how injuries can decimate a team. badly. So having healthy guys and a crew that can take care of them is key. Bada Bing Crosby says even if Moss is underused, he will be an impactful player if he takes Frank Gore's role of last year. A fresh young guy who can get us 3 and short yardage, might not be flashy but very helpful. And I totally agree with you.
I definitely totally agree with that point. Can we read the next that one? No, go up.
This one
Go
here?
up one more. Yeah, can we read this one?
Yes, we can. Davion Price says, I'm telling you, if Jerry Hughes can bounce back to his old self, our defense will be a problem.
I'll handle this. What's his old self? What are we talking about here? Because what you've got right now is what he's been for the bulk of his career.
Get him, Kev.
He's played what, 8 years, and he's had 2 good ones. That's it. Like, this is his norm, right? He did nothing once. Mario Williams and what's his name, the DT sent off to from Alabama. There, he sent him off
Marcel
to
Darius.
Marcel Darius,
Yep.
and Kyle Williams. Well, Kyle Williams is still there. But when Darius left and Williams left, I don't think he's cracked 6.5 sacks in the last like half a decade. At first I heard, he wasn't a good fit for Rex Ryan's scheme. Wasn't a good fit. And then you got rid of Rex Ryan, and it was going to be, okay, now we're going to see the old Jerry Hughes. I said, okay. And then you went back to the 4-3 and nothing.
Yeah.
And then it was, no. He doesn't have anyone on the outside. No one's helping him out. Lorenzo Alexander goes to the Pro Bowl with, I believe, 11.5 sacks.
12 sacks, man.
Nothing from Hughes. And again, 5.5 or 4.5 sacks or something. Then it was, okay, no. This year, though, he's going to have some interior pressure, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Like, he hasn't had a good year in half a decade. And he's only had 2 of those years. So when 2 of 8, that's not old self. That's not the norm. That's the aberration. And that's because he was playing with 3 all-pros in what was probably the best defensive line.
What was it? Mario Williams, Marcel Darius,
and Kyle Williams.
And
then him. And he was like the 4th. He was the worst of the 4th, which isn't a knock because that's probably the best defensive line we've seen in the last 10 years.
That's
like
a pretty solid line.
Years.
That's a pretty solid
That's
line.
a dominant line. Mario Williams won Defensive Player of the Year.
So
ever since they left, he's never. I don't think he's broken. You can look it up, but I don't think he's broken 7 sacks. So this is Jerry Hughes, and now he's 32, 33 years old. You have a better hope of Addison getting 10 sacks or Quentin Jefferson or someone like that coming up than thinking all of a sudden Hughes is going to get 10 sacks.
So will you be shocked if Jerry Hughes gets 12 sacks this year?
Yes.
You'll be out of this world.
Floored.
You'll be floored. You'll be floored. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Buffalo Fanatics. I am here with my special friend, my special guest, Kevin Gerard. He is heated. Jerry Hughes is one of his favorite players, and he gets so passionate to talk about Jerry Hughes. For those that are tuned in from Facebook, from Twitter, from IG, you came from IG to watch from the YouTube, welcome. Salute you guys. If you guys could be so inclined to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, you will not be sorry. I think we bring a very good, entertaining page to you folks, and I think that my friend and I do quite a good job. What do you think? You feel good about this?
Yeah, I'm good about that.
I feel good too. And for those that are listening, this is going to be on one of the Buffalo Fanatics podcast. Keep tuning in, man. Show us some love, and we'll go from there. So we're going to bring up the next topic here.
I don't really know enough about it, but
I'll touch on it because I don't know too much about it, but I'll touch on it anyway because there's a lot of people that do know about it. And in the meantime, I need you to talk because I'm going to get my phone, because on my phone is where I wanted to drop a little bit, so it won't take me too long. So you can talk about what the Dolphins are going to be doing this year, or actually take some questions. You know how to run that thing.
Yeah, I know how to speak into a mic, but Jesus, how much taller do I look now? This is impressive. See, I'm telling you, I'm taller than Rico, but he always puts me in the little chair. But let's see what we got here. I see. Depends on just reading some questions. You guys, you want me to give you some opinions on stuff. I'll tell you who I've been shitting a lot on expectations of the Dolphins record, 6-10. It's a real tough schedule. Bills got a much tougher schedule this year too. You guys could be a better team and still end up with the same record just because we got to play Seattle this year. We got to play San Fran this year. We got to play the Rams are okay. You know what I mean? Like last year we had the NFC East and they were pretty brutal last year. But like or dislike the OT from USC, hated that pick. I think he's talented. They're talking about the first round pick that we took, Austin Jackson. That would be because, well, the little story behind him is he missed all of the offseason the year before because he had to donate bone marrow to his sisters because his sister had a rare congenitive disease, and if she didn't get it, he would die. So he missed the entire thing. He wasn't able to work out, wasn't able really to practice, and then he kind of got thrown in. He's very talented. He's very raw. I really hope. I'd love to see Miami bring an old Buffalo Bill back, Jason Peters, for 1 year and let Jackson to hit the weight room and then play in the second year. Record predictions on AFC East teams. We were actually going to go through that. I was going to go through the schedule, the Bill schedule with Rico. We'll probably do it. I think Dolphins, like I said, I think Dolphins 6-10, Jets 7-9, Patriots 8-8, 9-7, and then you guys. I want to see the schedule. I'm expecting you guys to win the division. I think you should win it fairly easily. I think this is the year you guys will finally beat the Patriots, and yeah, we'll go through it with Rico here. But I'm just off the top of my head. I'm guessing like 10 wins. It's a harder schedule, but you guys are a better team than you were last year, I think. So we'll see that. Oh, Rico's back. I'm going to go back into the little stool here.
Are you that much higher?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's great.
You're acting like you acting like you're 6 feet.
I am.
Are you 6 feet?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
No, it's not true. but I tell the women.
There you go. So, folks, the topic that we're gonna hit now is one that I brought up on the Matt Perino and Ryan Talbot show on YouTube the other day, and that was Ralph Wilson. Everybody wanted to talk about. Let me bring that a little closer because everybody wanted to talk about what the team is going to be doing this year and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Let me think outside the box here instead of just talk about the stuff that we already know. Let's talk about the things that some of us may have not been privy to, because I had to do a bit of research myself. I had my guy Jay Spence join me, and that's my guy. You're going to see a lot more of me and Jay Spence doing things together. There's a good chemistry between him and I, and it's a shame because that was his debut, and my man's camera didn't go through, so we're going to have to fix that up, my G. So, Ralph Wilson. Never will I speak ill of the dead. It's disrespectful, and the man is a pillar in the NFL, right? So, there's nothing terrible to say about the dude. You kept the Bills in Buffalo. You could have went elsewhere. You know he was actually going to try to bring them to, not even Toronto, before that. He was going to try to bring them to Miami. It was going to be a Miami team. And then something happened where it didn't work out. So he's like, all right, let's go to Buffalo, right? So my question was, did Ralph Wilson hold the Bills back after the 90s, right? So because we all know what happened in the 90s. We are very dominant team offensively and defensively, 4 straight Super Bowls. Pains me to say it, but we lost all 4 of them. But nonetheless, I don't think there'll ever be a dynasty that takes their team to the Super Bowl 4 straight times. It's just not. I don't think it's ever going to happen again, and it's a damn shame because the fact that we can say that we've been to the Super Bowl 4 times and we lost all 4 is shameful.
The Vikings did it.
They went 4 straight?
No, they've also been 4 times and lost. I think they did it 2 1 year and then 2.
Yeah, so I'm talking about 4 straight, baby.
No,
4
I'm just
straight.
saying,
Yeah, but I like that. So then I started thinking to myself, and I don't know too much about Ralph, so I had to look some things up. All right, Scott Blakey says Ralph was cheap and mediocre coaches and players was good enough for him. Caught lightning in a bottle with Paulie and Levi. Yo, you're gonna make my point. Thank you. Okay, let's get to it. Ralph Wilson.
Levy, not Levi.
I say Levi. Marv Levy. So here's the deal. AFL. The Bills won 2 championships, 64 and 65. Don't ask me who was on the squad because I have no idea. I was not even.
I believe Jack Kemp was quarterback.
Was Jack Kemp the quarterback then?
Senator,
Way back then?
Congressman or something.
Yeah, he's in Congress right now. or
I
was
don't
in
know.
Congress. Anyway,
He's the only old Bill I knew prior to the
maybe it is, and I'm. This is where I will not
Joe
ever
Ferguson.
pretend to be knowledgeable in this case, but I did a bit of research. So 64, 65, we win championships. Pillar. Then we merged with the NFL. All right. And we had the young running back by the name of O.J. Simpson, aka I think his name is
Orenthal James.
Orenthal James, OJ, right? OJ's agent came to the Bills with Ralph and says, "Listen, man, if you want to win championships, if you want to have success, you need this player. This player is what's going to transcend, is what's going to change the game in Buffalo." You want to know what Ralph Wilson said? Ralph Wilson said, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'm very close to it. If I bring OJ to the team, what am I going to do with these championships? That means all that means is I got to give player raises. He's got to pay up. Yes, you do. If you want to win, you want to bring championships to the city, you've got to pay up to keep the good players. But my mans did not want to do that. So that's when it started to hit me. I was like, wait a minute. If you're not ready to pay up, but you have to keep this team just afloat to be relevant, you got to bring in flash players, right? And this is where OJ came in. OJ made the playoffs once with the Bills. That was it. Over and done with. What have the Bills done after that? We go to the 90s. Do you even know that he wasn't even looking for Bill Polian as a coach? Bill Polian was recruited by the I think the coordinator, I think the scouting team, and they found Bill Polian somewhere else, and they had to convince. They had to actually they hid it bringing Polian to the team, and then they finally said, "Okay, man, we got to bring this guy on." It wasn't as if they went and searched for him. He just lucked into the position, and then Bill Polian was Bill Polian and built this team strong to get four. So you bring in your Jim Kellys, you got your Bruce Smith, your Thurmans, all that. You have all that talent. You bring them to the Super Bowl. And and the thing is with Ralph, the word is that he wanted to have his finger and his pulse in everything. And the problem is he thought that he was smarter than everyone. And when you have someone that thinks they're smarter than everyone and they don't hire the right people to make the right decisions and you want to stay involved in everything, this is where you have problems.
Jerry
You don't
Jones.
win. Jerry Jones.
He got rid of Jimmy Johnson. Yeah.
For what? You get rid of Jimmy Johnson when Jimmy Johnson was the guy. Look what's happened to the New York Knicks. James Dolan is got his fingerprint in everything, and the Knicks are shit. They're trash. Golly. So when you have an owner like Ralph Wilson that doesn't want to get your team better, I mean, for crying out loud, you hire Dick Duran as your coach because ain't nobody want to come to Buffalo. You had to go and get Dick Duran. You bring in Mike Mularkey. Mularkey had enough of your crap, so he's like, I'm gone. Then you bring in Marv Levy to be the GM at 80 plus years of age. Then you bring in Buddy Nix to run your team. I like Buddy Nix a little bit. He's a very straight shooter, but you're bringing Buddy Nix that goes and drafts C.J. Spiller, the water bug type of running back. You're bringing him when you already had a Marshawn Lynch and you had a Fred Jackson. So you'd have 3 freaking running backs on the squad, and you get rid of Marshawn Lynch. And you wanted the team to win?
He wasn't the same player on your team.
I don't give a damn what he was.
He was not that great. I used to love when Marshawn Lynch was in the game. He never did anything against Miami. Never did. I hated when he came out of the game because Fred Jackson would come into the game and Fred Jackson killed us. He killed Miami every time. Him and Kenneth Davis, the curse of the Bills' backup running backs. Kenneth Davis, 200 yards in a year, all 200 came against Miami. I'm telling you, like.
And I got my guy Daniel Gary saying Ralph did find him. No, he didn't. Look it up. He didn't find him. It was a few guys that
it was still his decision at the end of the day.
Because they had to convince him. They had to say this is the guy you need. It wasn't like he went looking for him. Anyway, the main point I'm trying to make is this. When you have your hand in the jar and too much and you're messing with it, talking about, hey, I want Rob Johnson in instead of Doug Flutie. You know what I'm saying? Or just we could have been so much better if Ralph just went, let me just be the owner and chill and hire the people that know what the hell they're doing. Look what the Pagula's doing right now. I'm not going to get in there involved too much. I'm going to make sure I hire a guy that knows what the hell he's talking about. in McDermott when it comes to the players. I'm gonna hire a GM that knows what the hell he's doing in this league. In freaking Brandon Bean. I'm gonna let them do their shit. I'm gonna stand back. And look what's happening right now. Had Ralph Wilson, in my opinion, done that prior, man, we could have had better. Look at the teams we put together. Go look at the 2005 team, the 2006 team. What kind of roster did we put together? Then we tried to make a flash signing with Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens comes to the team and we put some butts in the seats, but we still put out shit product.
He was pretty good that year.
Because he's a freaking Hall of Famer. But what the hell did the team do? Nothing. Trash, man. It fires me up because we could have been so much better. We could have been so much better. I could have been bragging like crazy because my Bills are the shit. But 20 plus years of bullshit, and only now I can start to feel good about it at age 35, man. Come on, man. I would have loved to brag about this team in my 20s. Shit. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyways, I digress. It's just that when I look back at certain things that we could have done, you know what I mean? We drafted Mike Williams, the big tackle, and then we went back and drafted JP Lossman into the first round. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. And the players we could have had. It just drives me. It drives me.
Oh, Lossman was bad.
My goodness, man. My goodness. Not true at Daniel. I was surprised as well. I'm just saying.
What's Kevin 2-year deal we signed him? Who did we sign for 2 years? Maybe Owens. I don't know.
I'm not too sure, but Scott Blakely, you know what I'm talking about, man. And like I said, I did a bit of research. I didn't dive too deep into it. Some of the people that are older than I do, that I am, would know far more into this topic. But I think a lot of people agree that Ralph did hold the Bills back. But you can never say enough because the Bills would not be the Bills and where they're at without Ralph. And that's the bottom line at the end of the day. So shout out to my guy Ralph though, because he kept the team here, and we can still talk about the team today because of him, right? And man, remember when he put Brandon? What's that GM? What's that president that we had that got kicked out because he was doing some nonsense with people in the office? That guy was a bum.
Oh, the VP.
I forgot his name, man. Brandon something. Can somebody help me out? Because I keep forgetting that man's name. I can't remember. I know one of you guys are gonna write it down. We let him go because he was up to no good, and just doing silly things. Russ Brandon, thank you, Russ Brandon. We put Russ Brandon in charge, boy. Come on, that's when you know it's a damn joke. You're not taking it seriously. You're not taking it seriously, for crying out loud. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to get that off my chest, and I'm so glad where we are right now because we've got a quarterback that's got a lot of potential and is going to be very good in this league. We got an elite defense. We've got great running backs. We got a solid receiving core. Listen, man, the sky is the limit for what this team can do this year. And we've got great coach and GM that's on the same page. Yo, stop playing games, man. This could be the year that we do some big things, and I look forward to it. That being said, I'm going to turn it over to my guy, Kev, and he's going to give his Bills prediction. Bills prediction.
You pull up the schedule.
I will pull up the schedule, and I brought my phone, and now, there it is. So let me pull up the Bills schedule this year, and we're gonna knock them down one by one, and you tell me how we're gonna finish the league in the year. So give me 1 second. You can read questions if you like, as we're there. I don't know what you see here.
Bean is the Belichick of football. Oh, guys, come on now. We gotta be realistic here. You can't crown someone the Belichick of football until you win 6 Super Bowls. Like, I'm not. Bean's really good, but I mean, yikes.
Let's keep it real, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I don't think we're 16-0. Yeah. So let's go through it.
Davion Price says 10-6. Ryan Berger says 11-5. So let's do it, man. I hate doing predictions. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I really do. So I'm gonna let Kevin do that for us. So let's do it. So first things first, we play the Jets.
No, that's preseason. Oh, you played Jets week 1?
Week 1 Jets.
Yeah, that's a win.
Okay, so the Jets is a W.
Yeah, for the rest of the games, you got to tell me where, though.
Okay, so Jets at the Bills. They're home to us. Bills at Dolphins.
Bills. Yeah, 2-0.
Okay. So that's against the Dolphins, excuse me. And that's a W. So we've got Rams at the Bills. So we have the Jets at the Bills, and then we have the Bills at the Dolphins on the road, and then we have the Rams at the Bills.
You should beat the Rams.
Okay, so that's three. That's three. So Rams. So we're 3-0 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after the Rams, we're still on the West Coast, kind of westish. We're going to the Raiders.
That's gonna be tougher than you think. I think you guys win. I think you'll win
On the
that's
road.
Gonna be, yeah.
So
I have a feeling. I think if I look at it single, I think you'll beat the Raiders. If I was to look at it objectively, I'd say between the Rams and the Raiders, it's probably 1-1. But we'll just go one at a time. I think you're better than the Raiders.
Okay, so we've gone in the first quarter. We're 4-0.
Yeah,
we are 4-0 in the first quarter according to Kevin. So now we are to the Titans at the Titans.
Oh, lost.
Oh, a loss.
Yeah,
a loss to the Titans. Okay,
you're not going 16-0.
I hear you.
And you shouldn't have beaten the Titans last year. They got, 3 touchdowns called back, penalties. The kicker missed like 4 field goals, and they had Mariota.
The quarterback is Ryan Tannehill. Does that make a difference?
Well, he's better than Mariota.
Yes, he is. I agree. The Chiefs. This is a Monday nighter. The Chiefs at Bills.
It doesn't matter. Chiefs.
So we're taking the L there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game, we're at the Jets.
Win.
So we sweep the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we are at the Patriots. No, excuse me. The Patriots are at home to us.
Oh, I think this is it. I think this is your big win.
So we win this game. Is
Yeah.
this a blowout or a close win?
Close.
Okay.
They still have a really good defense.
So now we are 6-2 at this point. 6-2 at this point. So we're moving on. So now we play the Patriots. We beat the Patriots. We're now in the second half of the season. Seahawks at the Bills.
Seahawks.
So you think that we lose to the Seahawks?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an L. Then we are at the Cardinals. This is the Jordan Phillips game.
Miami plays the Cardinals too. It's the Jordan Phillips game too.
Yeah.
And the Kenyon Drake.
Right. Kenyon Drake game. That's right.
Man.
That's a tough one too. I honestly think it's a tough one.
You guys are I think you're better than the Cardinals, but man, I like that Kyler Murray.
I do too.
I'm telling you.
I honestly think we lose that game.
Yeah.
I think we lose that game personally.
I think you win.
You think they win?
I think you win, but I'm telling you right now, I'd take Kyler Murray over Josh Allen.
So would I.
Let the anger begin.
So Cardinals, Chargers. It's the Chargers at the Bills. Tyrod is coming to town.
Oh.
If he's still the
no. He's
the starter.
The Chargers are a weird team because last year the predictions were that they were going to win like 11 games.
Right.
Everyone got hurt, and then they were garbage. And now this year, it's like everyone thinks they're going to be garbage. I don't think they are. I think they're going to be like an 8-8, 9-7 type team. So they have some guys on defense, man.
They do. They got some balls.
Wow, they got that Juan Thornhill and Derwin James safety combo. They got Ingram. They got Bosa. They got Jerry Tillery. They got Kenneth Murray. They got it is Casey Hayward. They've got some players. But I'm going to give the Bills a win because their offensive line is trash.
The Bills, okay, so the Bills take that dub.
Tevy is their left tackle. I don't know who he is.
So the 49ers, we're at the 49ers. We go, we lose to the 49ers.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now.
49ers are the better version of what you guys are at this point.
So we are 8-4 at this point.
Yeah.
8-4.
Okay.
So we're going into the last stretch. Steelers at the Bills.
At the Bills. And I believe it's a Thursday night game and a short week.
It is a Thursday night game.
It's a real toss-up.
Does it make sense? Does it do anything to you that we are at home Sunday night?
Yeah, it does.
Thursday night, excuse me, Thursday night.
Yeah, it's real hard to win on. I'm going to say the Bills. It's real hard to win. I think the Bills and the Steelers are pretty close.
Pretty even?
Pretty even because the Steelers obviously last year, had some guy named Duck Hodges throwing the ball. Like
Ducky Hodges.
You're not winning any games with Duck Hodges.
Oh, excuse me. That wasn't a Thursday night. It's a Sunday night.
Oh, it's a Sunday
The
night?
Mafia said it's a Sunday night. Forgive me.
Well, regardless, I'll give it to you.
So you give us that Thursday night in the empty stadium. Is it a Thursday? Okay, it doesn't really matter. It's prime time.
Allen will own the Niners in prime.
It's prime time.
Doubtful.
Scott Blakely. What did Scott Blakely say? Scott Blakely said, "Cue the chase and be realistic. 15-1." He said, "Cut to the chase. We're 15-1." So we're at the Broncos. What do we got?
Where? At the
Broncos. At Broncos. Yeah. And that game could be flexed. I'm giving the Bills the W on that one.
Yeah.
I don't believe in what's my guy? What's his face?
Second rounder.
Yeah. He looks like the guy from
Drew Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock.
He played real well at the end of the year. I just love what they did though. I mean,
the Broncos did do a really good job. They got a good offense.
Sutton and Jerry Jeudy and the little kid, what's his name, Hamilton, or what's his name, the
running back?
No, the little slot receiver from Penn State who can fly.
Oh, KJ
Hamlin.
Yeah, KJ Hamlin. Yeah,
those are the three wideouts.
Yeah.
They got Melvin Gordon. They got Phillip Lindsay. And they got that Noah Fant at tight end.
and they just picked up what's his face, running back from the Chargers.
Melvin Gordon. Yeah.
Melvin Gordon.
That defense is legit. I think the Bills will win.
I'm thinking the Bills win too.
But
personally,
but
it's a tight one. It's gonna be
not
tight.
like last year when you were playing Kyle Allen. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think you win though.
But I don't think Drew Lock is that nice.
But the other thing too is regardless of what the team is, it's tough to win in Mile High. I'm still going to give you the win, but that's why it was him and Han, because while I think the Bills are a better team, it's tough to go. If you had said Denver at the Bills, I would have said the Bills right away.
Yeah.
But it was tougher. I had to think about it.
So we've got the Patriots.
I think you lose this one.
We lose this one.
I think you split this year. I think you beat them. I think the home team wins.
And then we finish the league against the Dolphins.
Win.
So Kevin has us going 11-5. 11-5. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Gerard, the Dolphins fan, has us sweeping the Dolphins, sweeping the Jets, and splitting with the Patriots. And I think that's fair. I honestly think that we sweep the Jets. I think you know what? I'm not even going to get into that because it's too crazy for me. I just don't jump into it, but I respect that you give us 11 wins. That gets us to the playoffs with a 7-team playoffs. So don't forget, we're going 7 teams this year. So this should be fun. Patriots split, and I hope we meet them again in the playoffs, and then we wax that ass, and then we go from there. So
someone keeps saying Allen will own. Allen will own. He doesn't own anyone. I don't understand. Like
Allen will own Allen. Kathy Barnaby. Oh, did you say something, Kathy? Kathy Barnaby said something earlier. I must have missed it.
She wants your predictions too.
My prediction, man. I don't give no damn predictions, man. I'm terrible with that. If I was Pierre just goes, we're 16-0. We're going 16-0. Lock it up.
Well, the best part is that's what he's doing it this month, right?
Yes.
Then next month, if I don't know, they have a bad practice, then it's gonna be, oh, that's it, tank. You know, he'll flip flop.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Bada Bing Crosby. We're gonna do actually one with the Dolphins, the Dolphin schedule. I'm actually curious to see how you see this going. Dolphin schedule 2020.
I don't think so though, because.
What do you mean? Don't think what?
Oh, we do it.
We're gonna do it, all right.
Yeah, my concerns about the Dolphins is that they're gonna have 5 new offensive linemen that have never played together before, including 2 rookies at tackle, and that's a bad formula. Like that is rough. And
man, you guys start off your freaking season pretty tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. So here we go. Patriots, week 1.
Where?
It's. You guys are at the Patriots.
At the Patriots?
Yep.
Okay, I'll say New England.
So that's a loss.
Yeah.
Bills at the Dolphins, you call that a loss?
Yeah.
So that's a loss right there. Dolphins, Jaguars, at the Jaguars.
Win.
Okay, so you beat the Jags. All right. And then the Seahawks come to your place.
Seahawks, obviously.
So the Hawks. So you guys have started off your season 1-3.
1-3, yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next. Damn, man, you guys have a tough beginning of the schedule, man. Dolphins at the Niners.
49ers.
49ers, that's an L. Then you're at the Broncos.
I don't see them winning in Denver.
So that's an L. Chargers at the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Oh, the Dolphins win that one.
Yeah, they always play San Diego well for some reason.
Okay. Rams at the Dolphins. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I think the Rams are falling, and I think I have a real hard time seeing how they're going to score.
By the way, we got to go back because we got a new member. Bing, biggity, bing. We got a new member in Mark Bloomquist. Welcome to the Bing Squad. Mark, appreciate the love and support. Keep tuning in. It's only going to get better. Back to the Dolphins schedule.
I think Miami matches up really well against the Rams. The Rams are a passing team,
Yep.
and I think that our corners will dominate the receivers. So I think I'm going to go with Miami on that one.
Miami?
I think so, because the Rams can't.
Miami with the
Rams
dub.
can't run, and I'll take Byron Jones over Cooper Kupp, and I'll take Xavier Howard over what's his name, Woods, and I'll take first rounder Noig Mahogany over Josh Reynolds.
Okay. So the Dolphins are 3-5 right now.
Yeah.
3-5. So we're moving on. So Dolphins at Cardinals.
Cardinals.
The Cards, you're gonna take that L. Jets at Dolphins.
Miami.
Oh, okay. So the Jets take that L.
Yeah. And I see Andrew Miller. I know they got Cam Akers, but their offensive line is so bad. It's gonna be hard. He's gonna be getting hit a lot, not just against Miami, but in general, hit a lot in the backfield.
Yes, sir. What's good to my guy Mark Bloom, because I appreciate that donation, my G, coming from Florida. Yes, sir. So Jets, you lose to the Jets, or did you say you beat the Jets?
It's at home.
The Dolphins at the Jets.
Will give us a loss.
Okay. Then we got the Bengals at the Dolphins.
Miami.
Oh. So you got your W there, and then you go to the Chiefs. Dolphins. We'll say the Chiefs. So now you, sir, are 4-8.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. You guys are 4-8, and we're going right into the last 4. Here we go. Patriots, Dolphins.
Miami.
The Dolphins win.
Miami always beats New England at home. Like always. I know you guys. It's weird for you guys because you guys haven't beaten them since like 1962.
For sure.
We always beat them at home. And no Brady. I'm going to say they beat them at home this year.
And I'm missing a game here.
I
must have skipped one.
They got to play. Oh, you skipped the Raiders.
Oh yeah, the Raiders. Yeah. So and Raiders, Dolphins, and you guys are at the Raiders.
What are we in right now? 5-8.
You guys are 4-8.
Well, I just said okay. So that makes us 4-9, 5. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 5. You're 5-8 now, and then you lose.
Because the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So okay, I'll say we lose that one.
So Raiders, you lose, and then you got the Dolphins and Bills. You lost that one.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm missing a game. Did I miss a game?
There's the second game against the Jets. They're going to win.
The Jets. No, that's right.
We beat the Jets at home.
So you beat the Jets at home. So you, sir, will finish the season
6-10.
Respectable.
Yeah.
I think you guys win 2 more games. Personally, maybe 2 more games. I think you guys go 8-8.
Pierre, I said the Jets would split with Miami.
So a lot of these guys are not. I mean, that was realistic, really, what you did. But I think 6-10 is ideal for you guys. But I think you guys win a game. I think another game. The Dolphins will.
I think it's just like the Bills. Like you guys had that kind of fluky playoff with what's his name, Tyrod. You weren't expecting to make it that year.
For sure.
And then you drafted Allen, and then you were 6-10 beneath the Dolphins again 2 years ago. You guys always forget that.
Yeah.
And then last year things started to come together.
Yeah.
So I think Miami's kind of on a similar track. Like they got rid of all their crap last year, kind of like you guys did that first year with Tyrod. Then they're going to take they signed some guys, they drafted some guys, they've drafted their quarterback. Hopefully he doesn't have to play too much next year. They'll do a 6-10. And then with 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and $60 million in cap space next year, hopefully then they make a jump from say like 6-9 wins, something like that.
I like that. I got two part. So I got my guy Mark Bloomquist says, "Tell me how PFF didn't have 1 Bills in the top 50." Listen, man, either you love PFF or you hate PFF, or you're indifferent. You don't give a damn what PFF does, and that's me. I don't give a damn what PFF does. I'll use it in my advantage when I need to talk about it, and then I won't give a damn if they trash one of our players because it's just if they're feeling it that day, it just
Yeah.
feels that way. I think it's a lot of feelings that they put in when they're doing PFF stuff.
It's crazy that Trey White's not a.
Yeah, like I mean,
Can't
come
tell
on,
me
you
he's not a
tripping?
top 50
Yeah,
player.
they're tripping right now with that. Who's gonna start this year for quarterback?
Fitz will start.
Fitz, you start?
Yeah.
Does he keep his job all year long?
No.
When does he get relegated to the bench and Tua comes in?
It's tough because Miami's schedule is brutal at the beginning of the year, so I think they're going to keep. I think what'll really matter is how the offensive line is playing. If the offensive line comes together fairly quickly, because like I said, it's 5 new guys,
Yep.
then you might see Tua earlier. If they're a train wreck like they were last year,
Right.
then I wouldn't see Tua starting till like week 13, 14,
Oh, late like that.
which I would prefer. I don't want him to come in early.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
We're
you one
not
bit.
contending for anything this year. Why risk it? Let
Yeah.
him take a full year off from the hip. Let Fitzpatrick take the beating, and then when the offensive line starts to gel and gets a bit better because they're so young,
Yep.
then you put Tua in.
They say that he's fully healthy, so he might be in sooner than you think. I've seen people write that he'll be in by week 6. Week
I
6
can
he's
see
in.
it. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it.
for sure. Do you think Barkley is in trouble from a backup from Fromm? So is Fromm going to take his position? I can't see Fromm taking his position. I think they're gonna play it out. I think they're gonna let Barkley finish his last year. It's his last year in his contract, and then they'll just let Fromm take over. But if Fromm doesn't catch on, and he's not doing it, and then Davis Webb all of a sudden is the guy, you never know if Fromm even stays on the team. You just never know. So right now, I'm gonna keep Barkley, as the backup. Fromm still has to prove a lot. This is the NFL now, so this ain't college. So you got to prove what you got. So we'll see.
Depends how it goes in preseason.
It definitely depends on how it goes.
Let's keep in mind, Barkley was, he's not great. He was sitting at home on the couch when you guys called him. It wasn't a trade. It wasn't a free agent. It was like halfway through the year and no one wanted him.
Right.
So you picked him up. So it's not like we've got like a real pedigree.
Good
here,
point.
right?
Good point.
So Fromm is a draft pick.
Yep.
And regardless of what we think, for some reason in the NFL, if you've invested in someone with a draft pick, you tend to give him more of a shot.
For sure.
Not saying he's going to win. It obviously depends on how he plays in training camp. But if you've got like kind of a fringe guy that you can sign at any time,
Yep.
versus a guy you put a draft pick in, it puts him on pretty good ground to try and battle.
And spin 0481 Fromm already put himself in a short lease.
Yes,
You damn
he
right
did.
he did. He
Yes,
definitely
he
did.
did.
So they're gonna be watching him tight. So you better
Yeah.
be a model citizen,
Just-
and you better light it up
Just
in training camp.
delete your social media.
Or just
account.
don't say dumb shit. I mean, we all say dumb shit.
Well,
We
I
all say
don't
dumb
do it.
shit. Like I say dumb shit all the time, man. Like golly, but like delete that shit. Do something, and whoever you were talking to that lit you up like that, boy, you better choose your circle wisely. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is our show. That's all I had for topics. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. For those that are tuned in from all different social media platforms, we appreciate it. Drop a like and subscribe. Follow before you get out of the place, get out of the room. For those that are listening in their vehicle or at home while cooking, doing whatever, I appreciate you guys. Keep tuning in. Please don't hesitate. If you have any questions, concerns, hit me up on my Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I've been much more active this year as opposed to a few years back. I see it seems to be the place to be. But you can find us at thebuffalofanatics.com for any of our blogs. Written pieces are there. Please join us on Instagram if you guys are not there. I think we've pushed over 70,000 followers, I believe. If we're not there, we're nearly there. The Bills guys are doing their thing. Please give them a follow, see what they're doing, and they're on here as well twice a week. They're grinding it out and doing a bang up job, good job for my boys.
Guys.
Very knowledgeable guys.
Yeah.
My man Tilt Money doing his thing along with Steve the Judge Mathis. My guys are doing a great job. Join us as well on chatwithbf.com. It's the Flick Chat. This is where you can find myself, Pierre, the Bills guys, the whole slew of writers. Everybody's in that, chopping it up and talking all things Bills. Anything that drops brand spanking new news updates, you're there. We got it, and we're dropping it right to you right off the bat. If you guys didn't realize that I was wearing a new design tee, last show. Check it out. It was really dope.
I like the hat.
You from that hat?
Yeah, it's nice.
I created that one myself. This is a Rico piece.
No, I take that back, man.
It's a Rico piece. I got a lot of people showing love, man. So shout out to you, Kev. I know you got good taste, man. You looking that. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it is realrico_BF. Hit me up. Hit me up. Guess I'm nearly at 3,000 followers. Actually, I'm not nearly there. I'm like 300 people away from 3,000 followers. So hit your boy up. Hit me up on the Twitter. Let's get my followership up and do it up. And please, I want to take a couple phone calls before we do leave. So if you want, you can call in right now. Please do, because I always like hearing what you guys got to say. If you guys want to follow my boy Kev Gerard on the Instagram, on Twitter, follow him up.
I only need a couple more followers to hit 60.
Guys, let's get him there, for crying out loud. Let us get him there. So that being said, let me roll back.
Man, you gave the whole "we're leaving" speech. You went from like 107 people to 79. They all think we're out.
It's all good. I mean, it's all love.
It's just me, that guy that keeps yelling at me.
It's all good. So listen, man, if you guys want to hit us up with questions, topics, anything, hit us up. And if you guys want to see more Kev and Rico together, let's make it happen. So I gave y'all an opportunity to call. Ain't no callers coming in, and that's fine. It's all good. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. It's always a pleasure to chat with you guys and really just interact, man. I mean, we are one of the bigger brands that are out there doing it, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in every time, showing us love. This is what keeps us going, and that's that. So, oh shoot, we got somebody calling. Oh, we do have somebody calling. Let me get this one. Let me get this last call before we get out of here. This is the Buffalo Fanatics. Who is this, and who am I speaking to?
Rico, Jeff King, how are you?
Jeff King. How are we this fine late night?
Very good, my man, very good. My best to you and Kevin. Hope your families are well.
Thank you very much. I hope yours as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Kevin, I think you're underestimating your Dolphins, because I got to tell you, they scared the shit out of me.
I just think they're a year away. There's so many young players and so many new guys. Like even the defense, even with all the free agents and everything, it's like it's a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Like 60% of the roster's new. I just think it's a lot to expect them, especially early in the season, to gel real quick and do well. Like if Bills were playing in Miami in Week 14, I'd be a little more optimistic that we could give you a game. But it's just we play you guys Week 2. You're just gonna steamroll us.
No, I do agree with you on that point. However, I mean, I seen your coach turn shit in the Shinola last year. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect, but
no,
what he pulled off was pretty amazing.
Yeah, like we had guys that like I love them, and I was looking up. I was in Buffalo with these guys watching them play, and I was like, who is on the field? I don't know who they are. I had to go to like Google and try and find out. They would sign guys off the street, and they would play like 3 days later. So what he managed to do with that was I agree, it was impressive, and we have a lot of optimism because we think Flores is the right guy.
Absolutely. I think you guys will do well. I hope you don't do that well, but I think you guys will do well.
Jeff, I gotta agree with you, because I think the Dolphins are going to be way better than people give them credit for, and I think that's one team that we should definitely be very aware of and not dismiss them, because the Jets, I feel like we can compete very well with the Jets. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they play hard for their coach, man. So I think that's going to be a very fun game to watch this year.
Oh, absolutely. And not to mention it's interdivision rival. I mean, so it's always a tough game. And I don't care if you got the worst of the worst players. I mean, it's always a tough game. They get up for that game, and they have a lot of talent on there, and you never know when they're going to gel.
Yeah, no question about that.
But gentlemen, I won't take up your time. It's always a pleasure talking to both of you, and thank you both for what you do, and all my best to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, man. Have a good night.
Take care.
You as well. Take care.
That's my guy, Jeff King. And on that note, we are going to call it a night. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in, and we will do this again another time. So until next time, This is my guy Kev. This is your boy Rico. And I'm gone. Let's go. How was that, Kev?